In today's video, I'm going to share with you a cool hack I was able to use to take my property that was getting no interest to get a ton of tenant showings, and we were actually able to get it rented out in the middle of December to a great tenant. We're heading to Fort Erie right now to check out my latest rental property purchase. It's a single family rental. When I purchased it, initially the plan was to add a second suite into the sort of large garage that the property has. We decided not to go ahead with that renovation. Just the cost of adding that unit and the additional cash flow was, the numbers didn't make sense. The cost was too high, and once you split it into two units, the additional expenses we needed to pay as a landlord really wouldn't make it worthwhile, so we had to change that plan. So since then, we renovated the house so that it's a nicely renovated 2-bedroom bungalow, and we've since rented it out as of December 15th. So pretty excited to get that rental income coming in to start covering our costs, because we've been paying the mortgage on this property since March. It's been quite a long time. So on this property, I hired a property manager because I've owned investment properties for quite a while now. I'm not interested in doing the day-to-day work in terms of finding a tenant or managing properties. I want to have good people who can take care of that for me. What is very important though, if you're working with a property manager, is to communicate with either your leasing rep or the manager who runs the company, because you want to make sure that they are aware you care about your property and that you're constant dialogue to make sure that things are being done that need to be done. We started leasing out this property at the end of October, and we just got it rented out for December 15th. So it took a decent amount of time, over a month and a half. And this is a little bit on the longer end. I was getting nervous in the middle there. Why weren't we getting enough interest? Especially because while I was communicating with my leasing rep, he advised me we were not getting enough inquiries that were turning into tenant showings. So people who were actually coming to the property to check it out. So because of that, we weren't even getting enough feedback to know, was our price too high, was our price too low? And I wanted that feedback before making any serious decisions on reducing the rental price or changing our strategy. So by discussing with him, we were able to diagnose that there were a few problems working against us on this property. We were renting it out at the end of the year. This is usually a time things are a little bit slower when it comes to renting out properties. The second was that this was a 2-bedroom bungalow, and a 2-bedroom single family home is typically less desirable than if you had a 3-bedroom home, right? Especially when you're renting to families. And the final point is we were trying to charge a rent above $2,000. So we started with a rent at $2,195 plus utilities. After a couple of weeks, we reduced that to $2,095, so $100 less. That reduction was not enough to get a meaningful change in terms of interest. So we were discussing and we decided, okay, let's try something new here. I wasn't ready to reduce the price any further because we had done a lot of renovations to this home. So it was a quality property that deserved that higher rent, but we needed people to see that. So what we did is we reduced the listing price to $1,995, and then we added the large garage we have as an additional $100 cost that the tenant could choose to accept or not. But we would tell them that if you didn't, we would rent it out to someone else. And all the people who reached out afterwards did not want someone else renting the garage, and they were happy to pay the $100 extra for that garage. So as soon as we made that change, we got a ton of inquiries that turned into tenant showings. And then of the tenant showings, we got 2 people who were interested in the property, one of which was a great fit that we approved right away, that's moving in December 15th. So the property manager listed this property for rent on multiple platforms. So Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, Zumper, PadMapper. So this listing was on multiple rental sites that was generating inquiries. Right now, Facebook Marketplace is the one that gets us the most attention from all of these sites. But I personally think, have it available on as many places as possible so you get the maximum amount of interest. When I hired the property manager to rent this property out for me, and I spoke to my leasing rep for the first time, I had worked with this property manager before, but the leasing rep they assigned for this property was new to me. So I set the expectation on the first phone call, hey, listen, I'm going to trust you and trust in your ability to get this property rented out, but I need you to communicate with me. I need to get updates. And he committed to updating me at least once a week, what was happening, and if they got any applications or serious questions, he would reach out to me at those times. But otherwise, even if nothing happened, I asked him to let me know once a week, hey, nothing's happening, we're not getting much interest, so that I had an understanding of what was happening with this leasing process. And that actually came in handy, because then after a couple of weeks, I was in constant communication with him. Even though nothing much was happening, we were discussing, okay, why is nothing happening? And can we try to fix this problem? Can we diagnose it? Can we find a solution to get interest to this property? And the next time you're trying to rent out a property that's not getting enough interest, consider separating some benefit of this property and have it available as an extra charge, so that you have a lower base amount to get more interest for people to look at the property, but have some feature that will be an additional charge, so that you get your full value in terms of the rental amount you charge. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. And again, if you're interested in learning more about what we do, check out the link in the comments for our beginner's guide to investing in the Niagara region. It's a free guide that you can get at that link below. All the best.